Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday morning trading session. All right, so let's see what we got going here this morning. This is the NASDAQ, of course, that I'm looking at. I'm also following gold and crude oil, although crude oil has been really a dud for almost a year now. It used to be such a strong market, but not anymore. It's just doesn't do a whole lot of anything, really. The NASDAQ, pardon me, and the stock indices in general are still fairly active, which is nice. Okay, so we have, pardon me, if we take a look here at yesterday's trading, you can see the overnight fell off a little bit, leaving us with a slight opening gap. But generally speaking, trading was pretty quiet last night. Very often what happens when we get those opening gaps is the market will try to fill that gap usually sooner rather than later. But occasionally those gaps will also be what are known as acceleration gaps, in which case we may just see the market continue lower from there. But that doesn't seem to be the case right now. The buyers trying to dig in a little bit here to start the day. We're back into the hard edge on the Eagle and the Raptor, and we are producing a first micro macro cross signal on the Hawk. But it's all very early still. We're only a few minutes into the session. All right, so here's the first micro macro cross now. It looks like it's going to run away on me a little bit. The reason I didn't really get on board here is that's kind of what you're looking at to set up this trade. Now, I know in hindsight, you can say, well, why not set it up any tighter? Well, the problem is, of course, well, you can, I suppose. You could risk it maybe down to there. Sweeten the deal a little bit. But generally speaking, I try to give the trade as much room as possible to start. Scalping trades do tend to be a little bit more forgiving just because your profit targets are that much closer, easier to reach. I've been having a little trouble with my data feed this morning. It's dropped a couple times now. I don't know what's going on with that. Just dropped again. Only for a second, but I'm not sure how that would have affected a trade. Okay. We've traded back now into the hard edge here. We are producing a macro pullback signal. Sure, Gary, hold on one second. All right, Gary has a question here. Actually, I'm going to get on board this number one signal that we have building here. Just throw in a buy and see whether or not they get in there to fill that gap. Nice thing about this signal is it does offer me a second push opportunity, and all that means is the signal has engaged and you saw prices retreat away from the signal. That means that we need some new momentum to get brought in here. Now this is actually an early cloud crossover signal. That we have building. Come on, get into that gap. Okay, it dropped my connection again, but didn't seem to adversely affect the trade. So we got a little bit of a hurdle here. There we go, 48 or 28, 54, 28 was holding the market down a little bit, but now that we're through that, I anticipate that we should at least be able to find our profit objective. Get up there. There we go. Hooray for us. Okay, nice little swing trade to start the morning. And it looks like we're now officially filling that gap. Okay, Gary had a question. When you have a few minutes, could you talk about the hawk pop up on setup? When the price is going down, it says scalp long setup. Doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, well, it's probably producing the warning during this pullback period, right? So even though price may be going down, it's alerting you to a buying opportunity, namely your macro pullback signal. The opposite would have been happening here. Price would have been going up, and it would have said that you had a scalp short setup. Now, you know, there's a lot of alerts available to you now. My own personal preference is just to go with the scalp. You know, just have it say scalp. I'll decide whether the trade is long or short. Likewise for the other audio alerts. Now, some people found that too vague, just to have the system say scalp. I use it simply as an alert. You know, bring my attention to the appropriate chart. If it says scalp, I know to look at my hawk charts. And when I'm looking at my hawk charts, I can say, oh, all right, well, this is looking like a macro pullback opportunity. I will get ready to buy. Or if it said scalp, I say, oh, okay, well, this is a green bar sell. I'll get ready to short. Now, for some owners, that wasn't enough. They needed to be prompted, oh, well, should I look to buy or should I look to sell? That's why there's so many versions of that. And some owners went even a step further, and they would include the market. So it would say scalp long setup NASDAQ, scalp long setup crude. Okay, well, if that is helpful to you, then by all means, that's what you should do. But for me personally, I think the audio alert is just to draw your attention to the correct chart. But that's what was going on, Gary, is sure, prices are going down. That doesn't mean we're going to scalp to the short side, though. Not if we're getting a macro pullback signal. And likewise, prices may be going up, sure, but that doesn't mean we're going to scalp to the upside, not if we get a macro pullback signal to sell. So that's why the system was producing that. Just like on the next macro pullback here, it will, on the way down, it will also prompt you with buy signals. Yes, Gary, there are services you can use. Gary's saying, are there services you can use to customize the voiceovers? And there are. Let's see if I can find one. Usually you just do like a simple Google search. Yeah, here you go. Computerized voice generator. And these are all, you can see a lot of them are free. And you can create your own audio file. Good to know. Ryman says, I updated my NinjaTrader 7 this morning and my data feed stopped a couple times. I rebooted the computer and now it works. All right, well, let's hope that's all it is that I need to reboot. So far, so good, though. Thanks, Clayton. Yeah, I am feeling a little bit better. I think I sound worse than I feel. All right, let's see here. Tony's saying, take a look at the Raptor on gold. And you'll see a textbook head and shoulders from this morning. I think this is what, pardon me, Tony must be referring to. Certainly is. Nice little left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder, and then the market falls apart, gives a retest. That's the part of the head and shoulders that a lot of people forget about. They recognize the pattern easy enough, but they fail to recognize that when the market breaks, there's very often a retest. In this case, came back with a nice number 2 signal, our reversal signal, and it looks like it tailed off a little bit from there. Has since moved back into that trading cloud, so things a little bit more neutral once again for the gold market. Excuse me just for a moment. I gotta get a glass of water. I'll be right back. I'm back. I really thought I was going to get through this winter without a cold. All right, Richard is asking, good morning, Eric. Glad to hear you're feeling better. Well, thanks, Richard. Where can I find the Tuesday and Thursday recordings of the training session, please? Can't find them at the IW site or the YouTube site. All right, folks, I hate passing the buck, but you're going to have to email Adam at indicatorwarehouse.com. I'll send you his email there. He and his minions are the ones who organize the website, and I'm usually the last to know where they put stuff, so please go straight to the source. Email Adam and he will hook you up. All right, here's an interesting little opportunity we have now in the Hawk. We've drifted all the way back here to a red bar buy. We should see the market retest the highs before reversing. But the nice thing about the red bar buy signal is you can also set it up for a counter trend. You can set it up for a reversal signal. So it can be with trend or counter trend. You can always use them as an excuse me, early warning as well that a trend reversal may be taking place, because they do tend to develop near the end of a trend. If the trend is truly reversing here, we're probably going to see a first micro macro cross lower. But like I said, the market does owe us a retest, a test to the extreme here. So actually buying it might have been the safer scenario. The only nice thing about a counter trend trade is it's very plain where you need to cover the position, namely above the highs. Aspen, yes, I saw your comment there. Aspen says, Eric, you're on 4 ticks on the gold chart. Yes. Gold, you can use the default settings. I always have one of my charts set with the alternate settings. Don't worry, you're not missing anything by running gold on the defaults. It's just because I'm hosting the trading room, occasionally somebody wants to see the E-mini or soybeans or one of these other markets that we need the alternate settings for. In which case I've got one set of charts ready to go. All I need to do is load that chart. The default settings work for 99% of the markets we're interested in trading. The exception, the popular exception, is the E-mini S&P, which is trading at 1250 a tick. Now it seems that those markets that trade at 1250 a tick don't generate enough signals given that brick size. So we go to the alternate settings, and the alternate setting is 4, 4, and 6. So we have a 4 tick brick. Oh, wait a minute. Why is that? It's supposed to be a 4 tick hawk. There we go. So our cloud sizes go 6 for one cloud, 4 for the other, and our hawk is a 4 tick brick. Oh, there we go. That's a little better. See how it smooths everything out? Makes it look all pretty. All right, so those are the alternate settings for the Raptor. Kind of waiting this one out a little bit. We'll throw it back on the shelf for now. All right, let's see. They're threatening. This hard edge on the band is offering some good support. All right, so it looks like the red bar buy signal would be just flirting with its profit objective about now. Okay, Aspen asked a good question here on the NASDAQ. He says the NASDAQ is down to the soft edge, then it retraces up. How many bars retracement is necessary? I'm assuming you're asking in relation to a test of the extreme. Is that where you're going with it? So the markets come down, traded into the cloud, bouncing off the hard edge. Yes, okay, a number 2 point. Aspen is asking about. Well, here's the deal with the whole test of the extreme idea. Excuse me. And it's going to sound like a cop-out. But if it looks like a test of the extreme, it is a test of the extreme. What do I mean by that? Well, let's go back here where it's a little bit more obvious. The market has put in a decent rally. And through the next few bars, it came up here and retested the highs. That looks like a pretty decent retest of the high, right? You need to remember what the retest is telling you as well. Here, excuse me a second, I'm going to open this one up because I think we're going to see a little bit of a run out here. You need to remember what a retest is showing you. It is showing you a market that is trying to recover the earlier trend. Here was a leg lower. This was a retest of the downtrend. Sellers trying to get the market to go lower. This morning, things are really waffling along, aren't they? We've seen a pretty decent rally from about an hour before the session until the first hour in, the top of the first hour in. Is this all the retest we're going to get? Well, it seems unlikely, doesn't it? It seems, given that this is how strong the buyers were, that this is all they're going to be able to muster, just that tiny little bit right there. So, to answer your question, you can't really put a mathematical number on it. Some people like to see at least a 50% retrace. Okay, that's good. I get it. Here, I'm going to need to manage this trade a little bit better. All right. Sorry. Trying to multitask. But the chance that this is all that we're going to get after this rally is probably not enough. So I would anticipate that we'll probably see a better retest either through the course of the day or maybe into the afternoon somewhere. It may be quite prolonged. The market may go sideways for a little bit and then finally give us a retest. But generally speaking, if it looks like a retest, if it looks like the market has made a serious effort to recover the trend and then failed, then there's your retest. I know it's very vague. People hate vague. I wish I could give you something more concrete, but take a look at what's going on here. Where's the retest from here? Really? This? Is that the retest? The market fell from way up here. There's some considerable strength to the short side. Is that all the sellers can muster? That right there? Or what do we think? Do we think that maybe this is now the retest of this low? That would make more sense, wouldn't it? So I know it's a, excuse me. I know it's very drawn out, and it doesn't happen very often this way. But when the market makes a reversal like this and you don't see a retest, you should be thinking, what happened to that retest? Especially when there was a lot of strength going into the market before. You know, if we only had this little leg come down, then we might say, yeah, okay, this is all they could muster. That's all they had. And then there's the move higher. But they didn't. It was a big, big move lower. Well, yes and no. Aspen says sometimes the retracements are small in a high-running market. Yes, if the market is very strong, very often the retracements are light, but sooner or later, the market will retrace. You see, what a retracement, here, a lot of people don't understand this either. Why does a market retrace? Why does a market pull back? Anybody? Anybody want to take a stab at it? Why does a market pull back? Yeah, that's right. Okay, you guys got it. Excuse me. Sorry. Profit taking. There's profit taking going on. You've got traders who are buying in all the way on this rally. They're buying in at different levels. Their stop losses are probably down here. Well, all of a sudden you've got a lot of risk on the table, right? Every time the market goes a tick higher, not only do you have open profit, but you have open risk. So you need to reduce that risk. And the easiest way for these institutions to reduce that risk is to reduce their exposure. So they'll take profit on part of their positions. Let's say they went in, bought 100, they'll start scaling out. Maybe they'll take profit on half. And then they'll look to see whether or not the sellers are strong enough to keep the market down, or whether the market will start to rally again. If it starts to rally again, well, then all the buyers will start buying in, and they'll bring their stops up here until the market gets to a point where they feel there's too much open profit again and risk, and they've got too much on the table, so they'll take profit once more, and that will cause a pullback phase. During one of these retests where the market tries to recover the trend, that's when the balance of power finally will switch and the market will start moving the other direction. So, Aspen's, you're correct that in a fast-moving market, very often these little profit-taking segments are light because everybody's just so anxious to buy. But there will be a point somewhere where you will see a serious retest of the high and a failure, because the control in the marketplace is starting to shift. So now, see where we are relative to the lows here. It's looking more like a proper retest of the lows. If it fails at this point and heads higher, we'll probably see a retest of the high here. And so on and so forth it goes. When it happens, relatively quickly, it's easier. Had we seen a little bit of a deeper retrace here, and then the market come back and produce a number 2 signal for us, it pretty much would spell the end of the buyers, and this would now be a full-blown bear market. But because it didn't happen that way, because it is a little bit more extended, a little more drawn out, it's not quite clear who is controlling this market. Like, I expect to see maybe some buying, and then of course if the buyers can resume the trend, especially if they do one of these, give the sellers another opportunity and then take it away from them, then that would show that the buyers are stronger. But right now we've got ourselves a pretty neutral market. So now we've almost got something resembling like a double bottom off the open. So this is the opening low, and then here we are with a follow-up low about 45 minutes later. Okay, so green bar sell signal that we could look to buy, as it's starting to look as though, well, I don't know. I was going to say we're going to see a proper retest. Maybe this market's just going to go sideways today. That's always an option as well, right? So all I'm looking at doing here is a failure of the green bar sell. It's essentially the opposite of this signal that occurred right here. And again, you can use the red bar buy and green bar sell as early warnings. You can see the signal developed here, and a few bars later, we got the first micro macro cross to short. All right, Aspen's asking, Eric, as we go along, can you explain to us the meaning of some of the relative dots, triangles that appear near the cloud areas? Thanks. Okay, well, whenever you get a warning dot printing, that's telling you that part of the signal parameters are being met. Some of the requirements for a buy or sell signal, according to the Raptor's programming, are being qualified. And that's why you're getting the early alert. When all the signal parameters have been met, you will get a triangle and a hash mark. Now, even though this tells us there is a complete signal, it may or may not be what I refer to as one of our high probability signals. And should I try to run this one out? Sure, why not? It may or may not be one of our higher probability signals, which tend to be these guys here, the ones that the numbers produce. When the warning dots, the triangles, and the hash marks print, and you have a high probability opportunity, those are really the trades I think you want to focus on. I don't think you should be worried about missing signals, and I don't think you should be focusing on taking too many signals either. Too many people come into trading with a production mentality. You know, they're prepared to work hard. They're prepared to trade lots, but that's not trading. That's not how you make money trading. You don't make money by trading more often. In fact, that tends to have the exact opposite effect. Yeah, Aspen says, just curious what the dots are trying to tell me. They're not trying to tell you anything other than some of the signal parameters are starting to be met. There's about a half a dozen algorithms working behind the scenes here. And when about half of them qualify, you're going to get a warning dot and an alert. That's the system's way of telling you, pay attention, something might be going on here that you'll be interested in. We haven't had an in-sync signal on the Eagle yet all morning. That's unusual. Good Eye Daniel's asking, are we getting sorry, just had to cough up a lung there. Are we getting a trend change signal on the Falcon? Yes, it's working a trend change signal. Don't have it just yet. We're flashing a couple green dots there for the moment. And now we might be getting a trend change signal. Got ourselves a very indecisive bar here at the moment. Come on. So you can see our green bar sell failure has turned into a first micro macro cross signal. Come on, just get above 54.26. You can do it. There's 20. There we go. Okay, I'll leave it in parabolic mode now. I could go with the bar high-low if I wanted to try to capture a little bit more of that open profit, or hey, I could just punch out 80, 75, $80 profit there. Let's see if we get a retest of the high of the morning. There we go. That's all I'll give them. The market's so fickle this morning. I may as well lock in what they'll give me. So now we're stuck at 54.31. Oh, might get tagged here. Yeah, okay. So now we got the sellers stepping up, trying to knock the buyers down again, and the whole process is starting over again. We did get a number one signal here on our Raptor, which is a valid signal. Problem is you need to cover it fairly deep. I'm not sure this will be deep enough, but that's pretty much your minimum, I would say, to cover the trade. And then on the next run up here, assuming we're going to get one, that would be a good time to start rolling your stops in. Or perhaps even use a break-even trigger. They're thinking about it. Come on, get up there. The longer they take without committing, more likely that we will see a little bit more of a reversal here. So maybe it is time to bring the stops in really tight. If they're not going to cooperate, then you may as well pack up your toys and go. Remember, there is such a thing as a good loss, providing you have a reason for doing what you're doing, not that you're just doing stuff off the cuff. All right, well, it turns out I may have been stopped here on this little reversal. But, if you have the patience to leave your stop back a little bit further, my thinking is I'm wondering whether or not this is a retest now of this point here. Right? If this is truly a retest, well, then there's the potential of a much bigger move lower. But it's not clear yet. It's not clear who owns this market. Right now, they're just taking turns. A little bit of buying, a little bit of selling. And you see, here come the buyers now, so maybe they're not finished. I don't know, Tony's asking 54.36-ish for the bulls. Yeah, that would bring it back up toward the high of the morning. You see where we are, though? We're right in the middle of this morning's range, right? Here's the high, 54.35 half. Here's the low-ish, 54.16. Where are we? We're right in the middle. So it's equally attractive for the buyers and the sellers. But who is in control yet? Don't know. Yeah, like Tony says, the middle's the hard place to trade, and it's true because it could tip either way from here. And here, now we're getting a failure signal. So again, it's very neutral territory. And we're getting a soft edge sell. Is this a retest of this? Is this, well, this is obviously a retest of this. And now the Raptor thinks prices may head lower from here. Is it a tradable signal? Definitely. Is it one that I'm going to, go crazy on? And no. I'm not going to get too heavily invested in it. If I do try it, I'm going to look at things like a second push opportunity. But yeah, the market's just so neutral right now. This is very much like flipping a dice. Flipping a dice. Flipping a coin, sorry. Mixing my metaphors. Get up there. I would really like to see this signal unwind. Give me a good excuse not to take it. All right, well, there we go. with that little hesitation? Come on. Okay, so here come the sellers. If they can close below 54.21, which is the low of this little swing here, we've got a chance. Come on, get down there. Here we go. Come on. For those of you interested in the text-to-voice program, here's one from Francisco. He says works pretty well, so I put the link in the window for you. All right, I'm going to squeeze this trade. I'm going to knock it to break even. I just don't feel like giving it anymore. Again, it's all this testing and retesting. See, now we're near the lows of the session, the lows of the morning. Is this going to be a test of the extreme here? And will we see the market turn and head higher? See, this number one signal, sure, it's taking some serious heat, but it hasn't failed yet, because there's a lot of people that took this number one signal. Their stops are down here. And if this market is sideways, well, the buyers are going to try to buy the bottom end of the trading range. The sellers are going to try to sell the top end of the trading range. Come on. Daniel asks, where's the best place to find the times when the markets are open? I go to the source. So what I mean by that is the CME. So here's the cmegroup.com, and they will have all the information about any market that you are interested in. So if you want to know about, say, May corn, these quotes are delayed, of course, but you can find out all about the market. Look at charts. This is what you'll be interested in here. Contract specs. Gives you the trading hours. Last trading day. All that kind of good information. And I just got tagged there on the little reverse at a break even stop out, but that's okay. Yeah, it's just something about the way the market was getting too close to those lows. Didn't really seem to want to follow through on it. That's all right, I'll take the break even. Ralph is asking, Eric, are you using some adjusted settings in the Raptor? I'm using NinjaTrader 8 Beta, and I'm not getting the same signals as you show. All right, well, first let's look at the settings, and then we're going to talk about beta versions of software. So, no, pretty much the default settings. The only thing that I have changed is the default setting for the soft edge buy and sell signals is 1.01. I dialed it up to 1.25. Just to make it less sensitive, to include more signals. Now, the nice thing about the Raptor is that it is much more tweakable than other versions of the DTS software. So this is available to you that you can customize it for the market you're interested in. I find for the NASDAQ, 1.25 works pretty good. But that's the only change that I've made to the Raptor settings. Now a word about beta software. It's always cool to have the latest and greatest, but here's a little trick that a lot of people don't know. Software developers use beta tests as a means to find system bugs. There's only so much testing they can do on their own. So what they do now is they'll get a working program, and I'm not pointing fingers at NinjaTrader. This is true for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're Microsoft or Google or NinjaTrader or TradeStation or whoever. If they've got some new bells and whistles that they've programmed into their software, they'll get it working, they'll ship it out, and then they'll wait for the bugs to be found. They'll get people to report problems, and then they'll fix them. Indicator warehouse software because it's a third-party program designed to run on NinjaTrader, means that it is not supported by NinjaTrader programming, which means the NinjaTrader programmers will do whatever the heck they feel like doing, irrespective of whether or not it makes your program work correctly or incorrectly. Adam and the team will fix any bugs that are related to NinjaTrader 8. They haven't done so yet because Ninja 8 is not stable yet. There are still bugs being found in the Ninja 8 release. Once Ninja 8 is stable, then the programmers will go through and repair all the bugs and all the patches. But you can see there's no point in doing it now because they may fix something and then next week NinjaTrader may rewrite the software so that now that patch no longer works. Adam and the gang would rather correct all the wrongs once and know that it works rather than always be chasing their tails. Now, for that reason, I am always very, very slow to upgrade to another programming release. I'm notoriously slow. I think I was very likely the last person to upgrade to Ninja 7. I was still running Ninja 6.5. Until I absolutely had to upgrade to Ninja 7. And it will be the same to go to Ninja 8. Yeah, see, Francisco asks, there's a new version 7. Have you upgraded? No. Somebody told me once, a long time ago, and this is one thing that annoys me about Windows 10, but they said if your computer works out of the box, and you know, all the software that you put on it, everything, if it works, turn off your updates. You do not need those updates. If it works today, it will continue to work tomorrow. Now, a lot of these updates, they push on us and they say, oh, there's security upgrades. They fix bugs and patches and security issues and this baloney. A lot of updates to your computer are tracking software. And a lot of them will cause conflicts with your existing programming. My desktop computer, which is the one that you see me working off here, runs Windows 7. I haven't upgraded it since I bought it, and it works seamlessly. Many of you who are running Windows 7 and have your updates turned on are probably getting prompts all the time. Hey, upgrade to Windows 10. You know, Windows 10, Windows 10. Why is that? Well, that's because in one of the security updates, Microsoft has put a little advertisement on your computer. Now, the thing that annoys me about Windows 10 is that you can no longer turn off the auto updates. And not only is that bad enough, that this is, you know, my computer and Microsoft refuses to allow me to turn off the updates, but it will self-update when it feels like it. Never mind, I could be in the middle of doing something. The software will decide that, hey, this is a good time for an update, and it will take control of my computer. And it's gotten really close. It's gotten really close where I've almost scrapped Windows 10 and put a Linux system, operating system on my computer. That's how upsetting I found it. So sorry about my little rant, but these updates and stuff, like I say, if your software works fine now, it will continue to work. If your software is not working fine now, then okay, go ahead, do the update. Oh, see, Aspen knows. Aspen says, I'm a programmer and totally agree with you. Adam was the one who told me that. He used to work in a service department for a tech company. And he said, turn the updates off, Eric. You don't need them. Ralph says, I'm not trading the beta. I just wanted to know if I should let Adam know the signals weren't printing. Yes, it doesn't help Adam very much if you just say, oh, my Raptor didn't print a sell signal this morning. That doesn't help. If you do a screenshot, though, if you save an image, you can either save it and put little notes on it, or you can just email it directly and point out, you can say, do a little highlight on it, and you can say, my Raptor didn't produce a signal right here, but Eric's Raptor did. FYI. That kind of stuff they can do something with. Yeah, see, excuse me. Yeah, like Francisco says, the cutting edge can also be the bleeding edge. That's for sure. Oh, here comes Russell with actually a trading related comment. Yeah, I don't know. Russell says, what do you what do you think of this wedge that we have in the Eagle? It's looking like it's going to break up, isn't it, Russell? This is actually our first in-sync signal of the day right there. One thing about wedges and triangles, the side that has the 3 hits on it, it will usually break the other way, in which case we can expect maybe a move this way, because we got 1, 2, 3 tags on that side and only 2 on the other side. I think we're looking at very much a sideways trading day today, folks. Probably just grab whatever profit you can manage. I'm not sure we're going to see any big runs, but a retest of the high of the morning does look like it is likely right now. All right, gang. I'm going to button things up here this morning. I'll see you again tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.